Jasmine leaped out of bed, her voice filled with excitement. Really? Yeah. Then why didn't Ms. Hawkins tell me about it? It's just been confirmed. I haven't had the chance to tell her yet. Jasmine's excitement was palpable. Let's not tell Ms. Hawkins yet, Dad. How about we surprise her when we get back home? It sounds like a plan. Dad, you're the best. I love you to the moon and back. After hanging up the phone, Jasmine's happiness didn't fade. She kept dancing and singing on her bed, brimming with joy. Suddenly, she remembered Charlene. These past few days had been good since Charlene hadn't called. To avoid talking to Charlene, Jasmine had been leaving the house early and deliberately placing her phone far away or turning it off when she got home from school. After a few days, worried about Charlene getting mad, she stopped doing that. To her surprise, Charlene didn't call in the following days. At first, Jasmine thought Charlene knew she was avoiding her calls. But then, knowing her mom, if she had done something wrong, Charlene would have corrected her immediately rather than staying silent. She couldn't believe Charlene would stay mad at her and not call. With that thought, Jasmine suddenly missed Charlene. It was the first time in days she had felt this way. She couldn't resist and dialed Charlene's number, but when she did, she remembered. Even though she would soon see Vesta back home, her mom would likely do everything to keep them apart, just like before. She couldn't see Vesta whenever she wanted, like she could hear. The realization dampened Jasmine's spirits. Back home, it was the middle of the night. Jasmine's call woke Charlene. As she was about to answer, Jasmine hung up in anger. Even though Charlene had given up her custody rights to Jasmine in the divorce agreement with Thorne, Jasmine was still her daughter, and she felt a responsibility toward her. Worried that something might be wrong after Jasmine abruptly hung up, Charlene quickly called back. Jasmine saw the call but turned her face away, refusing to answer. Charlene's worry grew, so she decided to call the house landline instead. Latonia picked up quickly. After hearing Charlene out, Latonia reassured her, Miss Minnie should be fine. She went to bed late last night and woke up late today. I saw her just now, still half asleep. Let me check on her, and I'll call you back. Charlene felt relieved hearing Latonia's words. Thank you. That would be great. When Latonia checked on Jasmine, she was getting ready for the day. After explaining what had happened, Jasmine lied, saying she had accidentally dialed the number while brushing her teeth. None the wiser, Latonia went back downstairs to call Charlene. Jasmine huffed, feeling somewhat better after the small act of defiance. After hearing from Latonia, Charlene finally felt relieved. However, the sudden wake-up call meant she struggled to fall asleep again, leading to a groggy morning at work the next day. Thorne had forgotten the divorce agreement envelope Charlene had sent to him since the day Vesta called him. Thorne ensured he had all his documents before leaving the house, unaware of what awaited him back home. Let's hit the road. Their car swiftly departed the manor, making its way toward the airport. Charlene was oblivious to Thorne's return to their homeland. No one had informed her. Half a month had elapsed since she had moved out of the manor. During this time, she gradually grew accustomed to and fond of the peaceful and leisurely life of living alone. It was a lazy Saturday morning when she finally woke up. After getting up and freshening up, she drew the curtains to find the sunlight beaming outside. She stretched lazily, watered her plants, and was just about to whip up a simple breakfast when the doorbell rang. It was her neighbor from across the hall, Mrs. Sullivan. Ms. Ross, hope I didn't wake you? Charlene replied softly, not at all. I was already up. That's good to hear. Mrs. Sullivan said warmly. I've brought some freshly baked muffins and apple pies from this morning. I thought you might like to try them. Charlene was happy. Thanks. That's incredibly kind of you. It's the least I could do after you saved our Sally from that crazy dog the other day. My husband and I have wanted to thank you properly, but we've just been busy at work. I feel terrible about it. Charlene smiled. It was nothing, really, Mrs. Sullivan. You're too kind. After exchanging pleasantries, Mrs. Sullivan left. Charlene sat down to eat breakfast while exploring the latest algorithm mechanisms of an OWL project she had been studying. In the afternoon, a notification about the centenary celebration of Starlight University popped up on her phone. Charlene paused, checking the date, and realized it was Starlight University's anniversary. The hashtag Starlight University Centenary was trending online, with several posts about it. The high interest in Starlight University's centenary celebration wasn't just because it's the top university in the country, attracting attention with every move, but also because this was the first centenary celebration, drawing many distinguished graduates back for the festivities. Charlene scrolled through the posts, her hand trembling slightly, as she saw several familiar faces from her past. Memories of her college days flooded her mind, throwing her emotions into disarray. Had she not married right after her undergraduate studies, she wondered if she might have been among the honored graduates invited to the celebration. Closing her laptop, Charlene hesitated before driving to Starlight University. By the afternoon, many VIP guests had left, but the campus was still buzzing with people wandering around the campus. Charlene found herself beneath the familiar structure of the science building when a familiar voice called out to her. Charlene? 20 minutes later, at a cafe outside Starlight University, Stuart Ferguson poured Charlene a cup of coffee. How have you been? Holding her teacup, Charlene smiled faintly. Pretty good, just getting a divorce. Stuart was shocked. I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay. What are your plans now? Thinking of returning to the company? I've considered it, but... Not fully grasping her concerns, Stuart said sincerely, Charlene, the company needs you. You're a key part of it, and I really hope you can come back to lead us. Charlene hesitated. I. Seeing Stuart's earnest expression, Charlene felt a mix of emotions. It wasn't that she didn't want to. It was just that the field of OWL was advancing so rapidly. Having been out of the industry for 6 years, she feared she couldn't keep up with the pace of progress, let alone lead the team to the forefront as she had done previously. Stuart and Charlene had become strangers to each other over the years, their meetings few and far between. Yet, even with these brief encounters, Stuart could tell the vibrant spirit that once defined Charlene seemed to have dimmed considerably. He remembered Charlene in her prime, a force to be reckoned with, and could hardly believe she could ever be associated with the word insecure. Stuart wasn't privy to the intricacies of Charlene's marriage to Thorne, but he had heard enough to form his suspicions. Without delving into details, he earnestly advised Charlene, falling behind for a bit doesn't really matter, Charlene. You've got skills and talents that aren't just run-of-the-mill. It's never too late to start over if you're still passionate about this path. Don't forget you were the student the professor was most proud of in his teaching career. Charlene chuckled at that. If our professor heard that, he'd probably scoff, saying he was picking the tallest dwarf. When recalling their refined yet sarcastically sharp professor, Charlene's smile faded slightly. I saw in the news that he's back for the celebration. How is he doing? Pretty well, just constantly annoyed by us, his students, always embarrassing him, Stuart replied. Charlene laughed, her heart swelling with nostalgia for the days spent learning from their professor and tirelessly working on research papers. Come back, Charlene, Stuart urged. Holding her coffee mug tightly, Charlene took a deep breath and nodded. Okay. Her passion for artificial intelligence started at a young age, and she loved the field. But her love for Thorne had led her to abandon her dreams for nearly 7 years, returning after such a long hiatus. Catching up would undoubtedly take time. Yet, Charlene believed that with effort, it was still possible. When do you plan on coming back? Stuart inquired. I need to hand over my current projects. It might take a while. Stuart said, that's fine. There's no rush. Waiting a bit longer was no issue if she were willing to return. After chatting more, Stuart glanced at his watch and mentioned, "A friend introduced me to a genius in algorithms who just returned to town. We've scheduled a meet-up soon. Since you're here, why not join me?" Charlene shook her head. "I'm not familiar with your team. Maybe next time." Charlene, "Sure thing." Stuart smiled. As soon as Stuart left, Charlene saw Thorne's sister, Tiffany Henderson, approaching. Charlene had seen her in the news but hadn't expected to run into her there. "Greetings, Tiffany." Tiffany didn't respond immediately. Her brows furrowed as she asked, "What are you doing here?" "I came for the Starlight University anniversary celebration," Charlene replied. Tiffany seemed to have forgotten that Charlene was also a graduate of Starlight University. The day was for honored graduates invited by the university, except for faculty and current students. In Tiffany's eyes, Charlene was an ordinary graduate without significant achievements. Tiffany decided not to dwell on it. She couldn't be bothered to care if Charlene didn't speak out of turn and embarrass the Henderson family. Thinking of her son, Tiffany bluntly stated her purpose. "Kane mentioned he misses your cooking. I'll have the driver drop Kane off at yours and Thorne's place later." Kane, Tiffany's son and 2 years older than Jasmine, had grown increasingly rebellious due to his parents' strained relationship and Tiffany's busy career. Knowing Kane enjoyed Charlene's home-cooked meals, Tiffany had started sending him over whenever she could. No one in the Henderson family cared much about Charlene except for Irma Henderson, Thorne's grandmother. Kids often mimic what they see. Tiffany's son was no exception. He enjoyed Charlene's cooking but looked down on her from his heart, treating her more like a servant than a family member. In the past, Charlene had gone out of her way for Thorne and never taken Tiffany's child's disrespect to heart. But then, as she and Tommy were on the brink of divorce, Charlene refused to bend backward for him any longer. "I'm sorry, Tiffany. I'm busy tomorrow," Charlene stated when Tiffany asked for a favor. Charlene was determined to focus on her career, putting her time into her work rather than worrying about Thorne or Tiffany after the divorce. It was time for her to stop wasting her time on them. Tiffany was stunned by the refusal. Charlene had always gone out of her way to please, especially with Thorne and his side of the family, but Tiffany figured Charlene must genuinely be busy. Otherwise, why would she pass up the opportunity to curry favor? Tiffany couldn't hide her displeasure. "Thorne and Minnie are not around. What could be so important?" Charlene couldn't help but smile bitterly. For years, she had lost herself in her role as wife and mother, revolving her entire world around Thorne and Jasmine. Tiffany's words were harsh, but not without reason. But Charlene was ready to move on. As they spoke, a group approached, calling out, "Miss Henderson." They were looking for Tiffany. After giving Charlene a once-over, one asked, "Miss Henderson, and who might this be?" Without acknowledging Charlene's relation to her, Tiffany coldly replied, "A friend." The group, all graduates of Starlight University back for a reunion, expected someone of significance. But Tiffany's dismissive tone shifted their attention away from Charlene despite a few lingering glances at her striking appearance. After the group left with Tiffany, Charlene, who might have been hurt by such treatment in the past, now felt indifferent. She picked up her purse and left. Later that night, Thorne and Jasmine arrived home from their flight. Jasmine fell asleep before they even got home. Tommy carried her upstairs, noticing the master bedroom door ajar and the room dark. After settling Jasmine in her room, he noticed Charlene was not in their bedroom. Butler carried their luggage and informed him, "Mrs. Henderson has gone on a business trip." It was unusual for Charlene to travel for work and even more so to be gone for half a month. Thorne's inquiry ended with a nonchalant hum, his question hanging in the air unanswered.